Hello, and welcome to Date Night with the Deglers. I'm Dr. Jennifer Degler.
And I'm Jeff Degler. Welcome.
We are so glad you're here. Boy, it is a beautiful night.
Yes,
here.
it is. 80 degrees. Awesome.
It's a perfect night in Kentucky. We ate dinner outside.
That was good.
It was really nice. We were eating inside, and we both took one bite, and I was like, wait a minute, is it nice outside? We were like, yes.
It's very nice.
Definitely want it. So I hope it's beautiful wherever you are. Hey, tell us where you're watching from in the comments so that you are entered to win this $10, help me, Starbucks gift card.
It needs a star on it, doesn't
I
it?
know.
That would help.
I don't go to Starbucks. I don't drink coffee. I think coffee tastes like dirt. So I'm always wanting to call this an Amazon card because it used to be, but anyway, it's not an Amazon card. It's a Starbucks card. So tell us where you're watching from. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Kelly. She's watching from Lexington. We're glad that you joined us. And at the end, Emily Wormnest, who is working behind the scenes, she's going to pick all our winners tonight. She'll pick somebody and we'll mail you this Starbucks gift card. Yes, yeah. So we are answering your sex and marriage and parenting questions tonight. We've got, and I will just give you a little heads up. One of the sex questions is very explicit. So before I go to answer it, I will give you a heads up so that if you are watching with kids, you can go in another room or you can put your earbuds in. So if you don't have earbuds, you might want to get them out. But that won't be the first question we talk about. The first question we're going to talk about is okay for kids' ears. But the second question is going to be more intimate in nature.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So good morning, Sarah. Oh, she's up there in Ohio.
Good morning.
Hey, Michaela. She's watching from
Good evening.
Lexington. Yes, good evening. Yeah, that's right. So, boy, it has been an interesting few weeks, hasn't it, in the United States? I know we've had a lot of interesting discussions here about about racism and educating ourselves about that and talking about it as a family. I hope your family has been talking about it as well. Hit that blue like button if your family has been having some discussions about racism. I hope that you have. And we are sure looking forward to getting out of town next week. We're going to Charlotte to see our daughter. Yay! We get to leave the state. That'll be so fun to actually get to leave Lexington.
It will be great.
Yes, it will. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Katie. Hey, Lauren. Oh, she's watching from Chicago. She says we're awesome. Oh, well, thank you, Lauren.
Ta-da!
We think you're awesome, too. Oh, and Allison's up there in Omaha, Nebraska. Hey, Tina. Hey, Cynthia. Hey, Caitlin. Oh, Cynthia's all the way out there in California. That is awesome. So, all right. So let's get to our first question.
Let's do it.
Okay. So this is somebody that says, we recently lost our dog of 15 years. 15 years is a long time to have a dog.
Yeah.
She literally never left my side. I had her longer than I've been with my husband.
Okay.
Yeah. I miss her terribly, and so do my boys, and I'm ready to get a new puppy. However, my husband isn't on board as he isn't a fan of inside dogs. My oldest son and I have started praying that God would put that desire in my husband's heart and see how important it is to us. Do you have any advice? Which we've never had a question like this before, but I do think it's a great question. And we want to hear what you have to say. You know, this is about what do you do when the two of you are differing on getting a pet. But, you know, it could be other issues as well. Like maybe one of you, you know, wants to move and the other one doesn't. Or, you know, something that's going to be a significant, you know, change for the family. And it's going to require, you know, this is not a decision like, should we have Mexican or should we have Chinese for dinner? And so... So, you know, we want to hear from you. What do you think, what, if anything, can you do in a situation where, like, one of you wants to get a dog and the other one of you doesn't? Or you've, you know, got a situation where you both have differing opinions on that. So, hey, Melanie. Oh, she's in the truck heading home to Eastern Kentucky.
Oh,
so
there we go.
There she goes.
Head home, that's good.
Listening. So do you have got any advice, babe, about, you know, what do you do?
Well, we've had three dogs, Jennifer and I, as a couple in our marriage. When we first got married, we were in love with our dogs and our dog, and then he ended up being not so healthy, and then after he died, then we got another dog, and after that dog died, we got another dog. So now, once our kids were a little bit older, when the third dog died, Jennifer and I we kind of made a choice that we love animals, we love pets, but
We're done.
it's
We're done.
it's a big commitment,
Yeah.
especially a dog. Like every 2 hours, you're probably going to have to do something for the dog. Let the dog out, water the dog, walk the dog, whatever. So we just decided, once our kids were older, that we just didn't need to do that anymore, and that just gave us, as a couple, more flexibility to kind of do more what we wanted to do. If we wanted to go boating all day, we'd go boating all day. Or if we want to go camping for the weekend, we'd go camping for the weekend. So I think it kind of depends on maybe what stage you're at, and where you're at now. Your
They
person
still
here,
have little boys.
yeah. Well, they don't say the what.
Yeah,
age. Oh,
I actually do know. This
okay.
is somebody whose boys are in
Okay.
like elementary.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't.
it's tough.
When our kids loved animals too, when our kids were littler, we wanted to always let them have access to a pet. So we had a dog, and I think they like the dog.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
want to get dogs now that they're out of the house, but
Yeah.
they haven't yet.
And no, to your point, and I see here, this is Amanda says sometimes you need an animal break, and that was something we felt like we were ready for an animal break, and it may
Yeah.
be that this is a husband that he's ready for a break because evidently they've had if she had the dog before even he came along, they've had that dog a long time.
Yeah.
And respecting, okay, maybe this person, my spouse, just needs a break from this for a while. I so appreciate how she says we've started praying that God would put that desire in my husband's heart and see how important it is to us. And maybe we could add to that prayer that I think it's a great prayer to say, God, here's what I want. Would you give me that or whatever else you think is better? Because right now, this mom and the oldest boy, they think what's best is a puppy, but that may not really be what's best.
Yeah.
And so really being open to saying, Lord, I think it's important that we ask for what we want. Scripture says you have not because you ask not. So ask and say, Lord, what I want is a puppy. Would you bring me a husband who wants, change my husband's heart to want a puppy? Would you bring me that or whatever else you think is better than that?
Yeah.
And that make my heart okay with that. If in fact what is best is that we have a break, an animal break, then make my heart okay with that. And trusting that if your husband's heart isn't changing, then that's because that's what's best, because you ask the Lord
That's very good.
to bring you what is best.
Very
so
wise.
let's see what other people have to say. Hey, Beth, I see several Beths watching. Cynthia says, I had to wait 10 years for my husband to be on board with a dog, but it was worth respecting his decision as we are now also happy. That's what we're talking about, is God's timing is perfect. And, your heart can be ready. Maybe your heart's ready for another baby, but your spouse's heart isn't ready for another baby yet.
Yeah.
Or a move or whatever it might be. And realizing it's going to be so much better when both people are on board. And if he doesn't get on board, maybe that's because, in fact, something's coming down the road and it's going to be better that you don't have that animal.
Yeah.
So let's see. Amanda says we always talk about the why behind the feelings or opinions. That is so, Amanda,
good.
that's so good. And later we're going to talk about what makes a good listener. And I think that's really important, is seeking to understand, okay, if you don't want an animal right now, help me understand, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah. And and Amanda also says she may also need to pray for God to help her understand her husband as well. Yeah, understand his perspective. So,
Of course, when you read the question too, I'm always thinking, what's the compromise here? What could you do? Okay, so he doesn't, like my dad was raised on a farm. He did not want any kind of animal in the house because he was raised on a farm. He just viewed all animals as, they're outside creatures. However, once I was an adult and I got a dog and I lived in the house, my dad loved that dog. So I don't know. People grow, people change, and Lord can certainly, if you ask him, he can help change those attitudes as well. So
Yeah.
who knows?
And and we bring up the thing of compromise. Maybe a compromise is that, hey, can we keep not cat? I don't know that a cat is a compromise for a dog, but hey, can we dog sit maybe? Would that be okay with you if we occasionally had, and watch somebody's dog for them, and then
Sure.
that way, you know, we talk about OPKs, other people's kids.
Yeah.
I always like OPDs. I like other people's dogs.
Yeah.
I don't want one right now in my life, but if
Yeah.
you have one,
That's
I'm
great.
happy to pet your dog and play with your dog. Now, I don't want to have your dog in my house because he's allergic to dogs
I
and
am
cats.
allergic.
He is allergic to dogs and cats. So, and Beth Degler says cats are awesome. She is a cat lady. She is definitely a cat lady. All right. Well, you want to give something away?
Sure.
Okay. So there have not been a lot of places that are open, but Baskin Robbins has been open. So we
love it.
We love Baskin Robbins. So we have another Baskin Robbins gift card. So I've been thinking about what we could ask people. I thought what we could do this time was ask you all to post, what is the flavor at Baskin Robbins that you would never order? Never. Like, you don't know why people eat that flavor of ice cream. And if you've watched these before, I do not like. What is the flavor I do not like?
I don't know. I have no idea. Sherbets.
No.
What I like.
Sherbet. Why would you want sherbet? He always does. You get sherbet. It's not even ice cream.
It's a staple.
I don't like mint chocolate chip.
Oh.
To me, you might as well just
Right.
get toothpaste and eat frozen toothpaste.
Yeah, it's like
but
Crest.
start posting, what is the flavor that you would never get at Baskin Robbins? And then Emily is going to go through, after you all have been posting for a little bit, and pick somebody to give this away to. So let me see. Let's see. Amy had something about our previous question. She said, I willingly gave up wanting a dog because of things my husband had gone through previously. And about 8 years later, he all of a sudden said, do you want to get Collie, my dream dog? But for my husband, I chose to be happy without, and God made the dream possible. Amy, that is
That's
so
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
And to your point,
Yeah.
people can change.
Yeah.
And isn't it wonderful that, Amy, that you didn't have to nag him for 8 years to make that happen, but just let God work on his heart, and then
thank you
it
for
happened.
sharing.
Let's see. Hello, Angela. Let's see. Melanie says our daughter dog sat. That showed us she was responsible enough to have a dog. Yeah, that's a great way to see. So Beth says she would never get vanilla. I'm right there. Why order vanilla? I don't know why. Amanda says Amanda's with me. She would not get mint chocolate chip. The other Amanda agrees. Ann says chocolate mint. See, these are my people. These are my people. They don't like chocolate mint either.
Toothpaste.
Maria says she would never get bubble gum. That is so, Maria, do you know I used to get bubble gum when I was a kid? And I would never get that now.
It's twofold. You get the ice cream, then you get to chew it.
And now to get bubblegum ice cream? Ugh, yes. Let's see. Deidre says anything mint. Nicole agrees. Yes, these are my. Ashley says pistachio. Cynthia says cotton candy. Blah. Yeah. So funny. You can tell as an adult your tastes change. Sarah says, I don't know all the flavors at Baskin Robbins, but I don't understand why people like ice cream with nuts in it. Sarah.
Ooh, you hit a touchy subject.
Sarah.
Oof.
Sarah, the best flavor at Baskin Robbins is chocolate almond. Chocolate almond. So Sarah, I'm sorry you don't understand. You got to be a nut to understand the nut thing. Michaela says anything peanut butter. Tina says vanilla. Melanie says vanilla bubble gum. Hey, Kathy. Kim says sherbet. Kim doesn't like sherbet. She's with me. Hey, Brittany. All right, let's see. Oh, and then Amy says, the details of the story are so much more meaningful. I'm mind blown at the dreams God has given. That's so great. Hey, Kelly. Okay, so, let's see. Emily picked somebody. She picked Ashley Bailey.
Woo,
Ashley. I don't remember, Ashley, what flavor you said you didn't like. I'm kind of looking back through here to see if I can find what. She says pistachio. That's kind of hard to pistachio to say. So just Ashley, message us your mailing address and say you won the Baskin Robbins gift card, and I will get that in the mail to you. Lauren says burgundy cherry. Ugh, that doesn't sound very good at all.
Never heard of that.
All right. Now, we're coming up on the very intimate, specific sex question. So if you have a child in your room, you need to get that child out of your room or put in your earbuds or get go in another room because this is a great question, but I'm going to get real specific, and
Okay.
I don't think you actually have much to add on this one.
Oh, the
Okay.
pressure's off.
All right. So you all have been forewarned. Okay. Here's the question. She says, Jennifer, this is quite personal, but you may have some ideas. I get bladder infections after really good sex. I've had the third one since February. I've been on 2 rounds of antibiotics this time. So after really great sex, she's getting bladder infections. So do you have anything to
It
add?
sounds COVID related. I don't know.
No, it's not COVID. It's not COVID related. Okay, so
It's February.
let's talk about your urethra. Okay, so
I take care of mine.
so what's happening is bacteria is getting in your urethra, and when you're having really great sex, a lot of times there's just a lot of activity all around your genitalia, and if there's anything that is like fecal matter or sometimes saliva, anything that's got bacteria in it, then that can get in your urethra. So here are, if you are prone to UTIs, and I will tell you, it can be genetic. It can run in families where you're prone to getting UTIs. The older you get, particularly if you're postmenopausal, because your tissues are atrophying a little bit, you can be more prone to UTIs depending on maybe if you have diabetes or different conditions, you can be prone to UTIs. So here's some things you can do, and these are great practices, period, to help prevent you from getting a yeast infection or from getting a UTI. So one thing you want to do is just make sure you have really cleaned off your genital area. And one of the best ways to do that before sex, most people in America don't have a bidet to do that. So what you can do is get in the bathtub. Like, you don't have to take a full shower. Just get in the bathtub, turn on the faucet, crouch in front of the water that's coming out of the faucet, and just kind of channel it down, and that way it is cleaning off your whole genital area and then cleaning down and cleaning around your anus as well. I told you this is going to be really graphic.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so you're cleaning that whole area off with forceful water, and it's going the right direction. We don't want it to come up from your rear end up. We want it to go down. So that's cleaning off that whole area. The other thing that's really important and simpler than that you can do is to urinate before you have sex and always urinate after you have sex. Because urine, unless you have a UTI, an infection, urine is sterile. So a lot of times women will urinate after they have sex, but I encourage women urinate before you have sex and after you have sex. It doesn't have to be a lot of urine, but a little bit of urine will help clear out any bacteria that might just be there. But particularly if you've had diarrhea that day, then you may have some fecal matter in that area or on your pubic hair. So really cleaning that out, cleaning that area off. The other thing you can do is, if it becomes a repeated issue, you can ask your doctor to prescribe you an antibiotic to take after you have sex. So you have sex and then you take this antibiotic if that is if that's a real serious issue for you. So the other thing is, if you want to be careful about what you're using as a lubricant if you're prone to yeast infections and if you're prone to UTIs. Couples will sometimes use saliva as a lubricant. Saliva has bacteria in it. So you may be using, when you think about oral sex, how can you kind of keep that away from that urethra area? And then as well, that you don't use saliva to as a lubricant on a penis or as a lubricant on fingers, because that just is introducing that bacteria. Either it's just getting more bacteria up into that area. So, told you it was going to be really graphic.
So that particular person had said, a bladder infection is a UTI and a bladder infection. Is that one and the same?
Right,
thing?
right. So urinary tract infection, yes. So that whole urinary tract, which your bladder's part of that. So, Yeah, and it's painful if you get a bladder infection. So, do you all have any other tips that you have for if you have you know repeated bladder infections? We'd love to hear your tips. So, hey, Jacqueline, let's see what else people have. If you all have said anything here. Um, Amanda says, laughing out loud, my husband is saying, yeah, I said this is interesting for a woman. Laughing out loud. Oh, yes. But again, my health affects our sex life, which affects you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this is good for guys to know too.
Yep.
But I hope you enjoyed that. Give me a thumbs up if that was helpful in any way to anybody. Get you a thumbs up. Tina says drink a full glass of water
Yeah.
after sex.
Yeah.
Emily says drinking cranberry juice can help as well. Yes, getting that. There's a substance in cranberry juice that can help with that. But again, the main thing we want to do is make sure we're not introducing bacteria into the urethra. Ashley, she says she's been prone to yeast infections lately after her period. Just talked to my doctor about it yesterday. Probiotics and boric acid suppositories. Yeah, to just try some of those things and see. And that is actually pretty normal, Ashley, for women at some point in their reproductive years to kind of go through a spell where they're just getting some yeast infections. I'm seeing lots of thumbs up. Good. I'm glad you all found that helpful. I was like, should I say this online? But I thought this is
Sure.
helpful. This is helpful information for people to know. I just think about my friends that opened up Facebook and I popped up in their feed and I'm talking about, their anus and whatnot.
You don't want to search on that.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know what's going to pop up.
Oh, look, Annette just popped on and she just heard me say that. Hey, Sissy. Yes, I just answered a very interesting question, Sissy. Beth says, I find that I get more bladder infections if I drink a lot of coffee and not enough water. My doctor validated that. Yes,
yeah.
Because anything that is a bladder irritant, and caffeine is a bladder irritant. And so that can be an issue as well. So thinking about what's going in and through your mouth, what's coming up your urethra that you wouldn't want in, and being aware of that. And we want you to have really great sex. We want you to have fun with that.
Yep.
And so that's why just making sure we're keeping everything as clean as we can. And then that way you can have lots of great sex. Okay. So Melissa said, that's exactly when I tuned in. It's like, what are they talking about? So if you've just tuned in, you're going to have to watch once we post this and go back and see what that question was about. Hey, I wanted to tell you guys about something that we are doing. Our family's doing as well. It is an anti-racism course called What Lies Between Us, and it's going to start Tuesday night. The 16th, June the 16th. And if you go to brownicity.com, you can sign up for it. It's $35. This workbook is $10 that goes along with it. We're really excited about it. It is a course for Christians about fostering first steps towards racial healing and becoming an anti-racist. So I'm really excited about us taking that. So I invite you to join us online. I think hundreds of people will be a part of that. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, so our next question is, we thought we could talk about being a good listener. What makes a good listener? Because one of the things, we're spending a whole lot more time together these days.
We are.
Yeah, as families, as moms and dads with kids, and then as we are beginning to get to spend a little bit more time with people, we're not doing like big concerts and big things like that. So when we do get together with people, we're talking a lot. And so what makes a good listener? And we want to hear from you. What do you think are some tips to help people be really good listeners, particularly during this time where people have a lot of opinions? They have a lot of opinions about wearing masks and social distancing and should our country open up? We are in an election year. People have opinions about the protest. People have all kinds of opinions. So we all need to work on our listening skills. Husband and wife, parents, friends, church members, and whatnot. What tips do you have for making being a really good listener? So I want to hear from you. What's a tip you have for people to help them be a really good listener?
I'm sorry, did you say something? Sorry, couldn't resist. Well, I think, you're right. I know I can't speak for everybody, but I know you and we've been home a lot and, trying to figure out what that dynamic is. And Jennifer is the type of person that needs her own space. I'm the type of person that needs a little bit of my own space. So trying to find that in your house. And I know I've spoken to a couple of my guy friends, like one of my guy friends, he's got like 6 people in his house. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how are you managing that? But I think for Jennifer and I, it's like we really enjoy taking walks. Those are really good for us. I think last week, we walked all the way up to Baskin-Robbins. It's like a mile and a half. So we had plenty of time to talk. But like tonight, we were just out on the table outside, on the deck eating dinner, and we just had great conversation. And it's just, it's great. We're at the fun stage of life, right, where we don't have kids and a lot of distractions in our life other than what we've got going on in our own lives. But
yeah, I mean that's a great point. If you're really going to listen well, you have to make time to listen, and that is one of a silver lining in this really hard time where we've all been quarantined is there is more time together and to really slow down and listen. I know at dinner tonight, you had something happen in your day that was difficult and you weren't sure you were going to, you wanted to bring me down by telling me about it, but we had time. And so you told me about it and I'm really glad you did.
Yeah.
But we made time for that, time to have a dinner together and then time to listen. So
I think too, Jennifer said, our whole family's going to take this class. And I think finding things as a couple that you can do together, these are really good things to do. So I know I have some of my guy friends, him and his wife, they really struggle with just finding common denominators. But the conversation's going to come a lot easier, I believe, if you have some common denominators in your own life. And they could be simple things. We're going to the same Sunday school class. Maybe we both go to choir. We both like music, or we both like going to the library because we like reading books. Something, anything. Just find something that's some of those common denominators. And it could be, guys, you've got to try some things maybe that you're uncomfortable with. Maybe your wife has always wanted to go horseback riding. You're like, go horseback riding. That's crazy. But try it. See, you might like it. So be open to that. Maybe you've all never rode bikes and you're like, maybe we should try riding bikes. If you can find a bike to buy, it'd be fun to go riding.
Yeah. Well, and just like with us doing this, what lies between us and just some of the conversations we've had, they're not always easy conversations. My spirit has been really heavy for the last few weeks, just seeing how little I have cared about racism and the injustice in our country. And isn't that my white privilege, the fact that I didn't have to care about it because I haven't experienced racism. And so I've had a really heavy heart. And so some of the discussions we've had they haven't been fun.
No.
They have not been fun.
No.
It's kind of been a heavy couple of weeks. Jeff's Mr. Fun too. I'm always the one bringing in the harder topics.
Yeah, let's talk ice cream or something, people.
But it is good, isn't it, though?
Yes, it is good.
It is good.
It's good to have a full conversation.
Yes.
So you can laugh at some things, you get serious about some things, but you have a full conversation.
Right. Yeah. So let's see some of these tips that people are giving. Oh, you guys have great ideas.
Ooh, look at all that.
Okay. So, Ashley says she's been looking into that course. Ashley, take it with us. Let's see. Okay. So Michaela says listening to understand and not reply. Michaela, that is so important.
So important.
If you're just sitting there thinking, when will you stop talking so I can tell you what I want to tell you? You have stopped listening.
Guilty.
You have stopped listening. And so listening, I call it listening with compassionate curiosity, where you're actually listening, thinking, ooh, I want to ask about this next. Ooh, that was interesting. I want to hear more. Tell me more. Could you help me understand this? Tell me more is a magic phrase to keep a conversation going. Lindsay says patience and not interrupting. Lindsay, one of the things as a counselor, when I have a couple in my office that they really struggle with interrupting one another,
Hold on. Let me...
I will give them, we have these little squares of carpet or little squares of linoleum. They're in my desk drawer. And I'll pull them out and I'll give them a square and of linoleum or carpet. And I'll say, okay, whoever is holding this has the floor. And you cannot interrupt or speak until you have the floor.
Yep.
So if you're holding it, you're like, I have the floor. I have the floor. And you have to wait until the other person gives you the floor before you can speak. So you all can try. Some people call that a talking stick. They have the talking stick back and forth so that they don't interrupt.
That's good.
Lauren says, acknowledging the fact that you're actively listening as the other is speaking. It does not need to be verbal, but body language speaks also.
Yep.
That's so powerful. It really is. Just whether you're making that eye contact, whether you have put your phone away, and that you're really listening. Yes. Amanda says, let the other person finish what they want to say and not interrupt. Yes. Melissa says, make eye contact and look at the other person when they're speaking. And I do think that is because of our phones, that has really become an issue for a lot of people, that they're trying to make eye contact with you, but then they hear the buzz and they hear the ding, and they're distracted.
Not just kids either.
Right.
I mean, these are
adults. This is so one of the things I'll ask my couples to do sometimes is to take a shoebox and to just write on the shoebox, you are more important to me than what is in this box. And then when they get home, they are to take their phone and put it in the box and put the lid on the box and read it. And it said, you can put my marriage is more important to me, or my family is more important to me than what is in this box. But it's a reminder to you, I am putting this away and putting it in a box because there's something else that is more important than this.
That's good.
Tiffany says, put that phone down. Yes. There we go, Tiffany.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Beth says, listen with your eyes. Put the phone down, turn the TV off, look that other person in the face them as they talk to you. And Beth, I do think that is because that is becoming scarcer and scarcer, that it becomes all the more important that we make that eye contact and we show that person, you are my priority in this moment. Let's see. Oh, Amanda's talking about racism. She says, let's see. Oops. I'm sorry. I made something go away here. Hello, Angie. Yeah. God created each of us uniquely in his own image. Yes, he did. So, okay. All right. So let's see. I'm looking at our time. You want to give something else away?
Sure.
Okay. So I thought what we would do is give away a download of our His and Hers deck of dares because Father's Day is coming up.
Yep.
So this will be a fun thing to give your husband for Father's Day. This is a collection of 40 dares to ignite romance and passion in your marriage. So there's 20 dares that are like romantic ways for him to be romantic with you or to initiate sex with you. And girls, I've got tips in here. What I did was I kind of like one of them is called the no screens dare for him to do. And if they have blue matches, they're the dares for him. And then there's 20 dares for you to do. And you have pink matches. So you can order this as the printed copy of it, or you can also order it as a PDF download. So what we're going to do is give away a PDF download. And then that way you'll have it on your phone. That's a good reason to pick up your phone. So no matter where you go, maybe if you're going on vacation, you get out of your state, or go on vacation, then you'll have this as fun little things that you all can do to help initiate romantic encounters and creative sexual encounters. Now you know how not to get a bladder infection while you're having those creative sexual encounters. So if you think your husband would like this, why don't you just start posting and just post the name of your husband. You don't have to tag him, but just start posting the name of your husband. If you think, or if you're watching and you think you would like it, you can post your name, but start posting your name, and then Emily will pick a name, and then we'll make arrangements for you to get the free PDF download of this. So, Oh, look at all these names coming up. Nathaniel and Brian and yes. Okay. Kev, I see a Kevin. Oh, and a Skip, and we got lots of names here. A Jerry. That's fun. Who else have we got? We've got a Richard. Yeah, an Aaron. Okay. Okay, I think we've got time for one more question here.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Um, it's another sex one.
Perfect.
Well, all right, but I'm not sure. I'm trying to think if it's like one that, okay, here it is. What are your top 3 tips to increase a woman's sex drive?
Got nothing, people.
You got any ideas?
Start with communication. Start talking to your wife.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay. Oh, Emily's picked somebody. Let's see. She picked Allie LaCroix. Allie LaCroix, you have won the His and Hers Deck of Dares PDF download. So what I'm going to just message us your email address and we'll figure out a way that we can get that to you, Allie LaCroix. So we're happy that you won. I love all these husbands' name. Oh, look, Beth wrote Jeff. Ryan, yes. Austin, Jared, Nathan, Robert, Simon. I like that name. Sismon. Josh, Matt. We got lots of guys' names here. So
great.
Okay, so top 3 tips. Here are my top 3 tips. When I'm teaching women about sex, I'm encouraging them to think about that sexual fire triangle that we've got to, as wives, 3 things that we have to tend to keep our sexual fire going. And that is we need a healthy, sexually responsive body. We need an emotional connection with our husband. And then we need healthy biblical attitudes about sex. So if any of those 3 things are suffering and we're not taking care of them, then you will see your sex drive begin to flicker and to fade and to go out. Your sexual fire will go out. And so if you've noticed, I'm just not really that interested. Just ask yourself, okay, is there something going on with my body? Is my body not responding as well? Or to say, is it about the emotional connection between the 2 of us? Is there something there? Or is it, I've been thinking things about sex that probably are not helpful with my attitude. So first, just do an inventory and see which of those 3 areas, it might be 1, 2, or all 3 of those areas, that you need some help in that. And as you are married over a long period of time, it's going to change. Your body's going to change. What your body needs will change. Your attitudes towards sex can change. What are you at? Like now we're aging, or at least he's aging. I'm not aging, but he's aging. No. And so what are your attitudes about sex as people age? Or what are your attitudes about sex now that you're a mom and you haven't been a mom before? And then looking at as well that emotional connection. Mm-hmm. What's going on in the marriage? And so when you said your top 3 tips, that's what I thought of. But then, okay, so know what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a tip for each of those 3 areas. Okay. Okay. Have you got anything?
No.
You probably got something to say. I'll talk and then let's see if you come up with something.
Pressure.
Okay. In terms of your body, okay, the number 1 sexual difficulty that women report as it relates to a healthy, sexually responsive body is lack of energy. Hit that blue thumbs up button if you are sometimes too tired for sex. You love that man that you're married to, but you are just too tired sometimes to have sex. So you're never too tired. So I know, literally. I don't know that you've ever been too tired for sex. So I'm seeing lots of thumbs up. Yeah, see these women, they understand. We get so tired. That's because women only have 1 pot of energy. Everything that you do comes out of that 1 pot. You have 2 pots of energy. You have a pot of energy for everything that you do, and then you have a sex pot. And I'm not the sex pot. I know I look like a sex pot, but I'm not a sex pot. And so men can just reach in their back pocket and pull out that little sex pot of energy when they want to have sex. But women, we don't have one. So we have to reserve energy for sex. And to be mindful and thinking before you say yes to something, consider how it will impact your sex drive. So before you say yes, kids, we're going to go to the pool, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do this. To think, how's that going to impact? Am I going to be interested in sex tonight? Is my body going to be able to respond tonight? So begin to think about how precious your energy is and to protect it. And you can ask your husband to help you when he understands that, how important it is that you have energy and you're not fatigued, because fatigue decreases the sexual hormones in your body. Then he can help protect your energy too, and he can take those kids for you, or say, let me, one of the things you did when we were doing elder care is sometimes Jeff would go over and he would do something for my mom so that I didn't have to do it, helping protect my energy. So that would be that's my tip in that area. You got any tips about that?
Well, you were talking about the love triangle, right?
The sexual fire triangle.
Sexual fire triangle.
Yes.
I guess my triangle would be yes, no, or maybe, and it's always going yes.
Okay.
No, I would say, I think, I said at the very beginning when you read the question, I'm like, you need to talk to your wives. But I do think it's important for guys that we understand that our wife doesn't just have a need for sex, but she has a need for intimacy. And the intimacy comes from, sharing your heart, sharing deep things, in your life. And I'm not just, honey, how was work today? Oh, it was fine. Bill was late, and, the coffee ran out of two, not things like that, but what are you really struggling with? Are there issues that are going on in your life? Are there things that are, really draining you, energy drainers, or I had a great idea today, and here's, some things I was thinking about. You're just being intimate. You're sharing your heart, things that are personal, things I thought that I wouldn't share with anybody else. So I think it's important as guys that we take the step to always make sure we're introducing intimacy and keep that intimacy up with our wives. We're always sharing our hearts, and guys in particular, we have trouble with this. So that's why I want to just encourage guys, be the leader and share your heart.
See, that was great. That
Yes,
was
no,
great.
maybe.
Yes. Ladies, didn't you like that? Give him a little love. Give him a little love. I love that. And just hearing you say that makes me feel attracted to you.
Oh, well, let me speak more.
Look, they love you. They're sending you some love for that.
It's just my hairstyle.
It is. It's your hairstyle. It's so attractive. Yes, they love that. Yes. Look at all that love they're sending you.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the part.
And, and that actually leads into the second part, which is of the sexual fire triangle, is that emotional connection between a husband and a wife, that heat. And that for a wife, our heart, that having a man seek after our heart is so precious. And as wives, sometimes I know I have been guilty of this. Like, if I'm mad at you, I will actually think, okay, something big happened today, and I'm not going to tell him. Like that, like I'm punishing him because to a woman that is punishment. That I am not sharing my heart with you, which really that is just cutting off my nose to spite my face. But to let your husband know how much it helps you sexually if he will seek after your heart. And really, just like you said, you said it more beautifully than I could say that. And so that emotional connection as a couple to think about, okay, what do we need to do? And one of the things we did for years was every year we would go to a marriage retreat. They went all different. Sometimes our church would sponsor them. Sometimes they were at Ridgecrest. Sometimes they were family life conferences. But we went to a lot of marriage retreats. And it was always a tune-up, and it always helped us with our emotional connection. And so I would encourage you, there's so many online resources now to help you build emotional connection. One of the things that I'm a part of that's a free resource for you is the Thriving Marriage series. And that starts July the 6th, I think. And I've been posting about it on on my Facebook page and then also on my Instagram page. And it's a free series of videos. I did one on sex. There's other marriage experts and it's for wives and helping you create that emotional and physical connection in marriage. So that's another free resource for you to keep working on that. So let me see some of the things that other people have been saying. So let's see. Lauren says foreplay, never stop dating and flirting regularly. Yes, that flirting. That is a great point, to keep flirting. Otherwise, it just turns into like a transactional type of relationship where we're just giving one another information back and forth. But to keep flirting with your spouse.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Hey, Carly. Let's see. Amanda says women never age. That's so true, particularly if you have a really good hairdresser and Botox. Okay, and let's see. Lauren says marriage takes nurturing. You have to invest in all areas, including physically. Yeah, and Lauren, we as women, we really do, because we only have 1/10 of the testosterone that men do. We have to make that intentional effort. I'm going to invest in this. And Ashley says when she first heard that explained, it fanned the flame. That really helped. I'm so glad, Ashley, that helped you. Katrina just got married. Yay!
Woo! Congratulations.
Happy being married, Katrina. Hey, Frank. Nicole says, what conference is that? It's called the Thriving Marriage Conference. It's if you go back and just look at my post on this Dr. Jennifer Degler page, you'll see it. And there's information where it's free. You can register for it. It's a series of videos of a mental health professional named Ann, and she's interviewing different people and discussing with them. Got some really great content. And it's free. Hey. Free teaching, free
That's
help
great.
for you. So, all right. So I think we're just about out of time. I was going to tell you about the third area in terms of giving you a tip in the area of helping you have healthy biblical attitudes towards sex. And I would say my tip in that area is to really do some thinking and ask the Lord to show you, what is it that I believe about sex? And see, like, where did you get your beliefs from? What do you believe? And does that really line up with God's picture of sex? And one of the best resources, I think, if you need some help in the area of cultivating healthy biblical attitudes about sex, is AuthenticIntimacy.com, which is Dr. Julie Slattery's ministry. She has a great podcast called Java with Julie. We're talking all kinds of things related around sex and Christians. And then she has a great video DVD plus a workbook called Passion Pursuit. We sell that on the Jennifer Degler store, or you can go to Authentic Intimacy and order that. Probably go to Amazon and order it. And that would be a great study to do this summer by yourself or with a group of girls.
Yep.
And really work on changing your attitude so you really understand how God looks at sex, what the Bible says about sex, so that we begin to we think the truth about sex, not maybe religious thoughts that we have about sex, not biblical, but religious thoughts, or maybe things that our culture has taught us, things that are not true. And the truth really can help set you free in this area. So, and I see where Emily just posted about the free conference there in the comments section. Thank you, Emily, for finding that and posting that. Hey, Jennifer Spears, all the way out there in Kansas City. So now it's time for us to give away the Starbucks gift card. If you are watching and you haven't posted at all, at least say something real quick. Say hi so that Emily can go back through and see everybody that's posted. And she's going to pick somebody to give this to. Want to let you know our next date night with the Deglers will be Thursday, July the 9th. I didn't ask you if that was okay, but it was clear on the Google Calendar, so I'm assuming it's good.
Should be good.
Should be good. Please send us your sex, your marriage, your parenting questions. We'll try and answer as many of those as we can. So, do we have anything else to tell them? Just remind you about, what lies between us starts Tuesday night, brownicity.com. I hope you'll join me and my family and as we learn to combat racism together. And let's see, Beth says, hi, I like Starbucks.
We know.
Good try, Beth. I'm just going to be honest with you, Beth. You're never going to win anything.
Because your last name.
Because your last name is Degler, so you are not going to win anything. But good.
You need a stage name.
That's right. You need it. That's right. She needs to log in under a fake account. So, okay. So Lauren Lorray, you have won the Starbucks gift card. So if you will message us your mailing address, then I will, and tell me you won the Starbucks gift card, I will drop this in the mail to you. So we are so glad you joined us tonight. We look forward to seeing you on the 9th of July. Send us your questions. We'll do our best to answer them and have some good discussions.
Yep.
Good night.
See you, folks.